Okay, well, good morning, ninth grade. I hope you all are doing well. Today we are on our Chapter 10 review part 2. So stay tuned, and I'm going over some of the homework problems. This is on page 429. Okay, I am doing some of the homework problems as our review. So if you do them with me or write them on a separate sheet of paper, then you can copy them over when you turn in your homework. That'll be super helpful. So Chapter 10 review, we're going to take our test starting tomorrow. So I hope you all have had a good weekend. This is your Monday video, and this will be due Tuesday, and then we will have the test, and it will be due next Monday. Okay, so you'll have review, and then the test, and that test will be due next Monday. So we are going to start here with a review of the one that was due the other night. So this is 2x squared. It's all factoring. Minus 30x plus 108. Okay, now the beginning part on all these problems, I know I've gone over it a million times, is always to take out what you can. So this is an even number, and they're all even numbers, so I know I can divide by 2, I get 15x, and I get plus 54. Okay? Now that I've gotten that far, I realize, okay, so I did that. That was step 1. Now I try and take the square root of 54. Nope, it doesn't work. So I know that this one's going to just be factored. So I come down here and I do x and x, right? So I have 2, and I'm looking for something that comes to 54. What times what is 54? That will give me negative 15. B, in this case, is negative 15, and AC is 54. And it is a plus 54 and a negative 15, which means the signs have to be the same. Okay, so what times what is 54? Well, I got 2 and 27. I have 3 and 18. Okay, and then I have 6 and 9. Now, the cool part here is I'm looking for ones that when they're added together, they're both negative, are going to give me 18 or 15. And now that one right there is going to give me negative 21. So even though that looks like it could give me 15, it's not going to. That means when these two are added together, look at that, they give me negative 15. So now I know that's going to be x and x. And I know it's going to be minus minus, right? Because they're the same sign here, but different sign here. So both minus, and one's going to be 9, one's going to be 6. And there is my final answer. Okay, let's do another one here. Maybe one that's a little harder. So this one is number 24. So this will be on your homework. This is number 24. And this one says 9x squared minus 25x. Okay, now again, what do we always look for? Look at that, we can take something out. So I take an x out of both, and I'm left with this, 9x minus 25, okay, because I took out the x. Now this is tricky, because look, it looks like we can take a square root of 9 and a square root of 25, but look, we can't take the square root of x. That doesn't work. So what that means is that actually our final answer is simply this right here. We did it as far as we could. Okay, so don't get thrown off just because it looks like it has the difference of squares and we can do it there, but look, this x, we can't do it. Okay, so we leave the answer just looking like this, x times 9x minus 25, and that's as far as we can go. Kind of disappointing. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do number 27. Okay, so number 27. Now this one says 24x squared minus 96y squared. Now this one, again, this one's looking good because we have a difference of squares. We can take the square root of y squared and the square root of x squared, but look at this. We can't take the square root yet because we have common numbers, and we got to find what is the greatest common factor. Well, the way we do that is why we come over here and make our chart, right? So 24 splits into 8 and 3, and then 2 and 4, and 2 and 2, right? And then 96, look at this, 96 actually splits into 24 and 4. So now I see the greatest common factor here is actually 24. So I can pull a whole 24 out of there. So I pull 24 out, and I'm left with x squared minus 4y squared. Now I come to this new thing here, and I say, I can do it. Square root of x squared, square root of y squared, and the square root of 4. Those are all perfect squares. So that's going to be x. That's the square root of x squared. Take the square root of 4, which is 2, and 2. Take the square root of y squared, which is y and y. And then, look, it's a negative sign, so that means 1 is positive, 1 is negative. That's the rule. And there is number 27. Nicely finished for us. Okay, let's keep going. Do some different ones here. Let's do, here we go. This is number 34. 34. This one's a little harder. 12x squared plus 78xy plus 90y squared. Wow, that is a big number. Okay, now what we need to do is say what is the greatest common factor between 12, 78, and 90. Well, if you went through and you took your time here, and we went 90 is 9 times 10, right, which is 3 and 3. We have, and 10 over here is 5 and 2. Then we have 78 here, which is 2 and 39, which is 3 and 13. And then we come down here to 12, and 12 is 4 and 3, which is 2 and 2. Now I have to say, what do they all have in common, all three of them here? Well, they all have a 2 in common, 2, 2, 2, and they all have a 3 in common, 3, 3, 3. So that means that they all have this in common, 2 times 3, which is 6. So that means I can take out a 6 from all of these, and I'm going to get 2x squared plus, now I use my calculator, and I do 78 divided by 6, which should give you 13, yep, plus 13xy plus, and then I do 90 divided by 6, and I get a grand total of 15y squared. Okay, now I'm not done yet at this point, though, obviously, because I have this whole thing right here in the middle. Now, the 6 is fine sitting here, but I need to factor this monster right here. And so this is where I use my a times c. So a in this case is 2. So I get 2 times c, which is 15. And it's a plus 15 and a plus 2. So that's going to give me a plus 30, right? You can do that in your head. Now, what am I looking for in the b? The b is equaling a plus 13x and y. So I need two things that when multiplied together are going to give me 30, and then when added together are going to give me 13. So let's say what times what is 30? Ooh, we got 2 and 15. When those are added together, you get 17. But look at this, 3 and 10. Ooh, there we go. We got 13. So I know now I can just write it that way. So I come down here and I write my 6 stays. And now this stays 2x squared, but then I do this guy right here, plus 3xy. And then I do the 10 plus 10xy plus the 15y squared. That's the grouping. Okay, and then I subgroup and do this guy together and this guy together. Okay, now at this stage, when I pull out, I keep the 6, right? He stays chugging away here. Now I can pull out, in this guy, they both have an x. So I pull out an x. So I have x times 2x plus 3y. And then what do I have here? I can pull out a plus, I can pull out a 5 from this and a y. So a 5y, and I'm left with 10, or not 10, sorry. I'm left with 2x plus 3y. Now, how do I know that I did this right? Well, I just look here, 2x plus 3y, 2x plus 3y. I did it right, and then I combine this x and that 5y. So my grand answer, after all of that, I'm going to clear myself some space to write it, is going to be this. The 6, which came out, always stays, and then I have x plus 5y, right? That came from here and here, and then I combine these guys that I just underlined in red to write 2x plus 3y. Okay, now if you can do that kind of problem, and you could follow me through and you would have done it on your own, you're in great shape for our test, okay? So that's how that problem would finish. Okay, let's do one more, and then we will call it quits, and I'll let you know what your homework is. So let's do number 40. This is x to the 4th plus 6x squared plus 9. Okay, now, when I look at this, I say, can I take anything out of these? No, I can't. But then what do I always look for next? Can I take the square root of the last and the first? Yes, I can. Okay, and now then I have to see if this middle one would make it work. And wait, what's the square root of 9 is 3. And if I have 2 3's added together, I'll get 6. I think, okay, this could work. So let's take the square root. What is the square root of x to the 4th? X to the squared. X to the squared, like I said that. Then we take the square root of the 9 back here, which is 3 and 3. And let's see, what are the signs? Here's a plus and a plus, which means plus and plus. Now I gotta try this out and say x squared times x squared. That's x to the fourth. Yay. Then I get plus 3x squared plus 3x squared. So that's going to give me my 6x squared right there. So I know I did it right. Plus 9. So I know I did it right. And I just write my whole answer, x squared plus 3 and all of that squared. And there's my final answer. Okay. So I could go on and on and on. And I think you have got enough of that, though, especially if you watch the other videos. So thank you for watching to the end. Those of you who got those free homework problems. So we are on 10 review. Again, this is on page 429, and we're going to be doing 22. Oops, sorry. We're going to be doing 23 through 45 all. Okay, that's a lot of problems, but let me just say this. If you can understand these problems now, you're going to be in great shape for when you go into Algebra 2 and Geometry. So, 25 through 45 all. Okay, that's all for today. Mr. H is over and out.